Everdell Farshore. This is your review for 2. Good day, my name is Joe. Today I'll be going over Everdell Farshore and how it plays with 2 players. Now Everdell Farshore is a worker placement game where you'll be placing your meeples across the map through various seasons, trying to get points on the boat track, trying to build your city, trying to get these map tiles, and by the end of the game, whoever has the most points wins. So let's see a little bit more how to play. So as I said in the beginning, Everdell Farshore is a worker placement game. So you're going to start the game with just 2 workers, and that's kind of it. You're going to get a couple anchors, but hand of 7 cards, and you're at it. You have nothing in your city, you have no resources. But throughout the game, you're going to be putting your meeple on some of the spots around the board to gather resources. So that's one action you can do, is place your meeple on the board. You can also play cards from your hand by paying its cost, or play cards from the bay by playing its cost. So the bay are these 8 cards in the middle that everyone has kind of access to, and your hand is obviously your hand that you can play from. So you'll be gaining resources, you'll be playing cards. You can come up with 15 cards in your tableau, just like Everdell. You have the bay, the worker placement, and the one big thing different is mainly these boats. These boats will move across these different scoring points, and you'll be getting treasure tiles along the way. Now you get to move boats by matching the windrose icon on the A and B token. So these will be changing throughout the year, but like if you play a unique with a little knapsack, you get to move up 2 spaces on the boat, and as soon as you land on a space with the treasure, you'll get the token. You can use it as a resource or 2 points in the end. So it's a little bit different scoring and a little bit more to think about. But on your turn, like I said, play one of the actions, play a card. Those are your main ways to do your action. Then if you can't do any more, you'll go to the preparing of the seasons, and you'll prepare these different times. You'll get a worker back, maybe do a couple actions, and the last player will get new windrose tokens. So after the 4 seasons, whoever has the most points will win the game. So let's see a little bit more what I thought about the game. So let's talk about the components in this game. And I will say Everdell does give you nice components. I really like the meeples. You can add these to the base. Just really neat. They're really cute too, to be honest. I like the little boats that they give you. You know, it's fun to pick up the elements and the stuff around the board. It's very, very tactical, and you can really feel it. You know, these anchors feel good to place. You know, when you get to play a free card, it's your way of playing free cards, by the way. So the components in this game are very good. The rule book, very easy to read. References, you really don't need a whole lot in this game. So as far as the components, rules, and references, Everdell does a great job. So let's talk about setup and table size a little bit. The setup really doesn't take very long at all, maybe 5 minutes, easy to get back to the table. And then table size, I don't know, maybe a 3x3 with 2 players is probably plenty of room for this board. So let's get right into the gameplay. So if you've played Everdell, this would be very familiar. They even have a kind of a quick rules comparing Farshore to Everdell on the back of the rule book. But it's very similar. One of the neat things is halfway through the game, you lose these 2 action spaces in a 2-player game. There's more, but you lose these 2 like island action spaces. So you really have to plan on maximizing your meeples. There's more areas and places to place your meeples on your city once you kind of get that going. But the gameplay is really similar to Everdell. It's a worker placement games with, to me, more ways to score. It's a little bit more streamlined, easy to get to the table. I really like the anchors. You put this anchor on a construction with a certain symbol, and you can play a critter with that same symbol from the bay or your hand for free. You can do that 3 times per game because you have 3 anchors, and it really kind of gives you a little bit of planning involved. I really like moving the boat around the outside. I think that's just another way to score these treasure tokens. Do you need a wild resource, or do you want the 2 points? Being able to try to kind of match these windrose tiles, even though it's a little bit random, you may not have in your hand or on the bay what it matches to, but it's still pretty, it's different. The other one is, instead of getting the events outright, you can get these maps. So that's another way you can kind of maximize your points with these maps. You have to have the matching tiles in your city. In a 2-player game, you get a ×2 and a ×1 over on top of each other. You do have to go 2 there to claim a map, but the more maps you have, the more multiplicative it can be. You get the multiplier in front times how many maps you have. So that is a really big plus for me in this game, is the amount of ways that you can score. I like that there's multiple avenues to score points. By the way, these shells, victory points as you go, kind of like the money tokens or the victory point tokens in Everdell. So is this game good for 2? And I will say that I do think Everdell Farshore is a really good 2-player game. Maybe you can play with 3 for a little bit more crowding of the worker spots and a little bit more of the bay coming in and out of different cards. This is just it's a cute game for 2. Everdell isn't my top game, but it's a good, solid game. So for 2 players, I do think that it's just a good all-around game. You place your workers, you guys are moving up on the boat tracks, you're placing your own city. There's not a whole lot of take that. Just a classic, kind of Lords of Waterdeep game. So here it is, my final thoughts. I know I end with is it good for 2? It is a good game for 2. However, I know out there, this probably has been called Everdell 2.0, and I would say that's a fair assessment. You're playing Everdell with map tiles involved, a different way to play some free cards, and a boat track. That's about it. It's a cute game. It's a fun game. Is this better than Everdell? Can be. With Everdell's expansions, I think that's maybe a little bit, they've made the game unique every time. I would play this over Everdell because it's easy to get to the table. I like the different ways to score, but do you need both? No, sorry to say. You just, when I'm choosing to pick a game, out of my game wall, when am I going to say, hey, let's play Everdell, or hey, let's play Farshore? To me, they're one and the same. So that's kind of the tough part, is I like this game, but I'm going to have to probably get rid of one. I just don't have, the mind space in my collection and the space in my collection to need to have both. So is it a good game? Yes. Do I like it for 2? Yes. Is it different enough from base game of Everdell? No. But if you don't have Everdell, man, this is a 45-minute experience. Worker placement, easy to get to the table, cute, just decent all-around game. So that's kind of all I had for the review. Sorry about the little bit of rambling, but I do have to give the caveat at the end of, do you need it if you have Everdell? So if you have any questions, I'd like to answer them in the comments below, but until next time.